Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, adequate notice of the March 14th, 2013 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of this meeting on the bulletin board in the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Whippany, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering and mailing or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: the Hanover Eagle, Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. We have a roll call.
On roll call, Committeeman Schleifer.
Here.
Committeeman Faramasca.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise, those that can, and join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have a few very nice presentations to make this evening. It's an honor for the Township Committee to do this. Our first presentation of recognition of service, and to comment on this, we have so many people in Hanover Township that have given us so many years of service to our township committees. No pay, no compensation, sometimes a handshake, but most time just a pat on the back for all of the time they've given us. Everything from landmark members, planning board members, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what really makes up the core of how your community operates here. Tonight, it's my pleasure to make an award to John Diglio. John has been a member of our Cultural Arts Committee for quite some time, and he'll be leaving that spot. John and I have known each other for a lot of years, and you know, everything from issues from cable companies to resolving some other things along the way. And it's the Township Committee's privilege, John, tonight to want to present you with an award for small token of our appreciation, trust me, for all the time and effort you put in and a dedication to that committee. And you set a good standard for them that they're going to maintain. And this is, John, to yourself in grateful recognition of 21 years of dedication to the residents of Hanover Township on the Cultural Arts Committee. So I'd like you to come forward. I'd like to present this to you. Terrific.
Thank you. Well, you always look terrific.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Mutual admiration, Selectman. Oh, my God.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're not going to be too far, are you? You're not gonna leave town now that you're retired, are you? Good.
You just may go on a few more vacations, that's all.
We know where you live, so that's good.
Joe sees me every day.
Along the same lines of a presentation, you know, honoring a great amount of time that one of our employees in this particular case has given us. And it is definitely my honor. I've had the privilege to serve, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, over a period of some 30 years with a lot of the peoples that we're honoring these at this time. This particular presentation is to Patrolman Louis Avaglia, and Lou has served us for 21 years on our police department, and he has given us exceptional service and honored us with his service to our town. So Lou, where are you? Sitting back there? Come on. There you go. Oh, sure, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Same order as yours. But in any event, I'm going to let George join us, all right, on this side. There you go. We're going to find a place on the wall for that, right? Yeah. There you go, George. There you go.
Can't hold that smile long enough.
Thank you, guys. I'll make this real quick. I'll try to keep it under 3 minutes. If that's okay, or even shorter. I do have quite a few people to thank in 21 years. I'm going to start out by thanking Mr. Giorgio for all the years of being Township Administrator. And when I got sick in September, instead of Mr. Giorgio wanting to know when I could come back or how I was going to come back, he ended up telling me, whatever you need, whenever you need it, I'm there for you, and I want to thank him so much for that, because I really did appreciate that. I also want to thank, he's not here today, Mr. Esposito, for when I put in my retirement papers. He walked me through the process. I called him 2 or 3 times a week for a couple weeks. Every time I ended with, "I'm sorry to bother you," and Silvio Esposito said, "You're not bothering me, you can call at any time." So I really want to thank him for all his help. I also want to thank Mayor Francioli, who I've had an opportunity to know throughout the years, and always was pro for the police department and pro for all of our programs, and for the rest of the Township Committee for what a great job they do looking out for our town residents. And I'm proud to be a town resident for over 15 years. So thank you, Township Committee and Mayor Francioli. I also, though, have to thank, even that none of them are here, I was in the schools for 9 years as a DARE officer. So I need to thank the school superintendents, the school principals, some have retired, and all of the teachers that I've been able to get to know throughout the years. So I want to thank them. I'm not going to name them all, it'll take too long. I'm moving along quick. I also want to thank the 3 chiefs that I had served under, Chief DeVenter, Chief Blake, and Chief Gallagher. I also want to thank all of my fellow officers, whether you're patrolman, a sergeant, detective, lieutenant, captain, and as I mentioned, a chief. A bunch of great guys who care so much about the town, so easy to work for them, and they really, really care a lot about the town. And thank you for helping me throughout my career. Just a bunch of great guys, so I want to thank all the police officers of Hanover Township. I also want to thank the secretaries, and last but not least, also the dispatchers, because of the great job that they do. And last but not least, most important person of all, who I've been married to for over 21 years, stood by me from the first day I went into the police academy all the way through my 21 years, and that is my wife, Karen Zavaglia, and my son, Brendan Zavaglia, and my daughter, Carly Zavaglia, because my daughter said
Turn that camera around and show them what our department does for them when they come out. We have a strong contingency of officers that come out to pay their same respect. That's wonderful. That's great. Very good. Good luck, Lou. Very nice. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to request a motion to open to the public for any items not appearing on the agenda.
Second.
And whoever's playing with the microphone, I want their names. No? Okay. It stopped. It must have worked. Okay. Motion to open the meeting to the floor. Motion. So moved. And second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time can do so from the podium. Please giving us your name and address for our record if you do so. Okay?
Yes, Dr. Robert Giaquinta, part owner of 57 Whippany Road, Whippany, New Jersey. Please cease and desist in publicly spreading false information. I have come into possession of an email from Committeeman Capola in response to a constituent who was questioning the taking of 53 and 57 Whippany Road. Quoting from this email, in the case of 57 Whippany Road, you should only be so lucky to be offered what our good Dr. Giaquintitis was offered. For your edification, allow me to clarify for you that Dr. Schmidt, who is Dr. Giaquintitis' son-in-law, is the only one practicing at that location. Dr. Schmidt was offered $1 million property swap for his $650,000 property plus $100,000 in relocation fees and relocation service. Dr. Schmidt accepted the offer, but Dr. Giaquintides, who by in Las Vegas all year long, up to the same property swap plus $500,000 in relocation fees, plus buyout of his partner, plus buyout of his son-in-law's lease. As for Dr. Garcia, he wants $3 million for property on our books for $440K. It is quite obvious that both of these doctors are willing to bargain out at their terms, which tells me that they could care less about their properties as long as they get as much as they can, whether reasonable or unreasonable. Unfortunately, not enough residents are fully informed of what has transpired. I hope this clarifies concerns. I was livid when I read this. In deference to Mr. Coppola for what he has done and is trying to do for this township, I realize that the misinformation that he received has led him to these conclusions. He was one of the 5 important voters in passing the ordinance to condemn my building. Did the other committeemen base their decision on this misinformation? If so, I want to set the record straight. I cannot speak for Dr. Garcia, who stands to lose his building and practice, but by putting a high price on his property, it could be his way of saying that it is not for sale. I am only speaking for myself. Some facts, though not being relevant, are corrections. My name is Giaquinta, and Dr. Schmidt is not my son-in-law, but my stepson. Also, Dr. Brandon Schmidt, Richard Brady, and Daniel O'Mullen practice at this location. On December 21st, 2011, I met with Vision Equities and told them that the property was not for sale and that I was not entertaining any offers, but I was willing to sacrifice a portion of both my front and backyards to enable the construction of these driveways. I did not want to impede Bayer's access. 2 weeks later, I met with the township officials and Vision Equities and proposed a slight change of direction in the plan, going straight ahead through the funeral home parking lot for about 40 feet, with a loss of a few parking spaces, which could be replaced in the back of their property. Only 10% of my property is involved, without any encumbrances on my building. I was not contacted by the township or Vision Equities for 11 months. In November 2012, my lawyer was contacted by Vision Equities, and I realized that the issue had resurfaced. While I was in Las Vegas, Dr. Schmidt had an off-the-record meeting with the mayor to discuss this situation. They scheduled a follow-up meeting, and I was asked if I would like to attend. At that meeting, I reiterated my position and gave the previously mentioned altered plan to the mayor. A discussion of a plan to swap for another property was held, initiated by the mayor and Dr. Schmidt, but no monies were discussed. Being knowledgeable about setting up a dental office, I said that it could cost up to $500,000 if a move was necessitated for Dr. Schmidt. I was not negotiating, I was discussing a possibility and reiterated my desire to keep my property. 2 days later, I received a letter from the township saying they were breaking off negotiations, which I didn't know I was having. Mr. Coppola states that there was a $1 million property swap on the table, in addition to buyout of my partners and buyout of Dr. Schmidt's lease, which is not true. Also, Dr. Schmidt did or could not accept an offer for the property. He does not own it. I had nothing to gain in innocently stating the cost of relocation. That is compensation for Dr. Schmidt's possible move. The $650,000 worth of the building that Mr. Coppola states is a tax roll assessment, although I believe that it is higher. The true value of all properties is not what the tax rolls indicate. That is why we have appraisers. Mr. Coppola, that I am only looking to get as much money as I can, is understandable based on information on which he based his opinion. Netting a few extra dollars is not going to alter my lifestyle. More importantly, it is a waste to demolish a historical and functioning building, let alone disrupting citizens' lives, especially when there is an easily changed alternative. Everything is upside down in this taking. The township is surrogate for a development only objective is to increase his profits. This, in spite of the bad taste left in their mouths from previous dealings with this developer. Why does the town even care what the price of the properties are? It is my understanding that in the long run, visionary are going to pay for everything. The town should not condemn these buildings, but if they do, at least fight for compensations for its business owners, as previously stated by the town. There was a vote that went against what the preponderance of townspeople want, as witnessed at the February 14th meeting. Why were both properties lumped together in one ordinance? Being schooled in science, I understand
Dr.
scientific...
Giaquinte, are you going to continue for much longer?
I have 2 paragraphs, or I
It's a
can
rather
stop.
lengthy statement, but go ahead, sir.
Okay. Being schooled in science, I understand that scientific protocol. In order to prove something, a study has to be done considering as many facts and tests as possible. This has to be able to be duplicated by independent investigators. Analysis of these investigations will lead to conclusions. These conclusions will either substantiate or disprove the theory. A traffic study plan was initiated by the township, which is governmental protocol in order to take property for traffic safety enhancements. For many reasons, this is a flawed study. In any event, the conclusions reached in this report do not substantiate that what is proposed at this intersection. I don't have time to go into it. The proposed plan goes against logic. Anyone driving up Parsippany Road can see that it should continue straight into the funeral home's parking lot, not take a 20-degree turn into middle of Whippany Road. In its present form, ongoing traffic will go directly into exiting traffic. I wonder how many accidents or deaths this will cause. What prior arrangements were made between the funeral home and Vision Equities and/or the township? Also, if safety is of primary concern, why was a convenience store and gas station allowed to be built on this already stressed intersection? If and when I challenge the taking in court, some questions may be answered. Mr. Coppola, if my intentions were to maximize profit, why would I go to court and spend tens of thousands of dollars with the possibility of losing it all? Unfortunately, either I or the township, / Vision Equities, will lose this money. Hopefully for the township residents, your arrangements with Vision Equities has them paying for this. The collusion of large corporations and government and the degradation of citizens' rights are 2 of the characteristics of fascism. I would be glad to discuss this with one or all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Giaquinte. I don't make any comment regarding emails, which, by the way, my township committee understands are certainly privileged under Open Public Information Act to any individuals who seek them. I make no comment reference to the facts that you just made. Some of them are substantiatable. Others I may refute. I do say that, as we know, unfortunately, this has been now been put into the hands of counsel for the township, and proper appraisals have been requested, I know, of the affected properties. All that being said, the township is following a protocol, as you so correctly mentioned, regarding the traffic circulation study that was done, and implementation of that study, which would improve the intersection and a problematical road circulation that over the years has been affected by 2 traffic signals within probably a couple hundred yards of each other. All that being said, I can't negotiate with you from this podium. It's not something by law that I can do at this point through the attorneys. But I have said, and will continue to say, that I am available at any time, any place, to meet, continue discussions. You feel that you have not had an opportunity to present more argument for your properties, I'm more than willing to sit down and listen to them. If there are areas that we can come to terms on and still effectuate this traffic circulation plan, I'm more than willing to listen to them. I say that to both you, Doctor, I say that to Dr. Garcia. There will be hearsay throughout this township. This is a controversial matter. We're not pleased as a township having to move in this direction. We do know, as our traffic circulation plan keenly pointed out, that there are certain hot spots in this township that have to be addressed immediately because of the movement in ratables, the movement in new neighbors that we've got coming in. You properly pointed out your property is at the mouth or the onset of an area to be affected by the intersection. But once again, I can't negotiate with you from this dais. I won't do that. But again, I reiterate, open hand. We wish to sit down, discuss this further. I would like to, the township would like to, all parties would like to come to some conclusion that would please you and please the township and everyone involved. So having said that, I can't comment any further. Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard at this time? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want the floor again, Doctor, or you're set?
No, you
Okay.
cut me off.
Thank you. Would anyone like to be heard at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting. Motion to close? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator.
Okay, and members of the Township Committee, ladies and gentlemen, we have the approval of the Township Committee regular meeting on January 24th, the special meeting on January 31st, and the bid reception committee meetings on February 6th, 12th, and 20th, 2013. May we have a motion on the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno, second by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Communications, we have one item of communication from the Board Secretary Business Administrator for the Hanover Township School District. This is a request for the drawdown of tax levy monies. The amount requested, $1,784,635. May we have a motion on approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Capola.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. The following department reports are available for public inspection and are in the Office of the Business Administrator Township Clerk. They include the report of the Chief of Police on all activities conducted by the department during the month of February 2013. The construction code official has submitted his reports on certificates of occupancy that have been issued, zoning permits, and also property maintenance violations as of February 28th. We also have the report of the Superintendent of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, and Property Maintenance, reporting on all the activities, projects, and programs conducted by the department during the month of February. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with the next portion of business, we have a public hearing and final passage on one ordinance. It is docketed as ordinance number 10-13. It authorizes a lease agreement with the Hanover Township Little League Incorporated for the operation of the Blackbrook Park concession stand commencing April 13th, 2013 through August 31st, 2013. We have the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the March 7th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. At this time, may we have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Ferramaska, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola. And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 10-13? Seeing none, hearing none, may we have a motion to close the public
So
hearing?
moved.
So
Second.
moved by Mr. Faramaska, seconded by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, in adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with the Hanover Township Little League Incorporated for the operation of the Blackbrook Park concession stand commencing April 13th, 2013, and ending August 31st, 2013, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the March 21st, 2013 issue of the Daily Record. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno, seconded by Mr. Capola on adoption. Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two ordinances for introduction.
Good.
The first ordinance is docketed as ordinance 12-13. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee repealing traffic regulation ordinance number 26-2012 at the request of the Grandee at Hanover Condominium Association. This ordinance will be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the Township Committee on the 28th of March at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room at the Municipal Building. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard will be given the opportunity to comment. It is further directed that the Administrator Clerk advertise the ordinance in full with the notice of introduction in the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on introduction?
So moved.
So moved in unison by Mr. Schleifer and Mr. Bruno.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruno. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced. And ladies and gentlemen, ordinance number 13-13. This amends and supplements Chapter 166 of the Code of the Township, entitled Land Use and Development Legislation, by revising various development regulations concerning stormwater runoff, lighting number and dimensions of loading spaces, pavement, curbing, striping of parking and loading spaces, bus shelters and accessory buildings, and flagpoles. All these are changes to update Chapter 166 of the Code. Because this is a land use ordinance, public hearing will be held on the 11th of April at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning the ordinance will be given the opportunity to comment. It is further directed that the Administrator Clerk advertise the ordinance in full with the notice of introduction in the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on introduction?
Motion for introduction.
We have a motion by Mr.
Second.
Faramaska, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced. On page 2, ladies and gentlemen, I call your attention to the consent agenda for resolutions. We have one additional resolution, which is not listed but was discussed and reviewed by the governing body during its conference agenda in legal conference. And the resolution reads as follows. It's a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover retaining the professional planning services of Paul Phillips and the firm of Phillips, Price, and Grigio concerning the investigation of Lot 9 in Block 4001 as being an area in need of redevelopment under the New Jersey Local Development and Housing Law at NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence, and the preparation of a redevelopment plan, if necessary, in an amount not to exceed $15,000. And the funding for that plan will be funded in full by the Jewish Community Housing Corporation, and that check has been deposited with the Finance Department. Are there any questions with any of the resolutions on the consent agenda? Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Capola for the approval of all the resolutions, including the last resolution read into the record by title, seconded by Mr. Francioli. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I turn your attention to the raffle applications, also to be taken as a consent agenda. And I believe, Mr. Capola, you're going to be abstaining for the Knights of Columbus applications. So we'll so note that for the record, that Mr. Capola will be abstaining on voting on raffle application numbers 26-44 and 26-45. Are there any questions about the raffle applications as a consent agenda?
Move to be approved.
We moved that they're approved by Mr. Capola with the exception
Second.
of the abstentions that Mr. Capola will not vote on those two raffle applications, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, the last item on the Business Administrator Township Clerk's agenda is the payment of bills. Total amount, $4,147,831.82.
I say we hold off and go for the float.
No, I don't think so.
I'll say, make a motion, we pay those. Come on.
Mike?
Second.
Motion and second. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Try and run.
Yes, pay the bills.
Any nay. Mr. Capola. And Mr. Francioli.
I guess.
Bills are paid. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda. The Administrator, Township Clerk, and I thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay. Gentlemen, is there any other comment from the Township Committee at this time? John?
In regards to the Environmental Commission, the Environmental Commission's Green Team, in conjunction with Employment Horizons, is sponsoring what they call their third Community Shred Day. So think about all of those confidential and tax returns which you've had stored now for over 7 years. You probably want to get rid of them in a easy fashion. So come out the morning of April 27th over to Employment Horizons, and members of Green Team will escort those into the shredders. So it will be done confidentially and it will be done free of charge for you. So mark your calendars for April 27th. The second point is something that planning worked on for many years, as well as EDAC. Back in 2009, as part of what we call the master plan for Hanover Avenue, or what we probably call in simple English, the reinvention of Hanover Avenue. There's been many, many steps in terms of progress. And the first step in progress was putting in the proper zoning that could accommodate the need. The good news is that we have now received an application for a home improvement store who will be going through the planning process to establish itself on the location of Hanover Avenue and Ridgedale Avenue. So this is something which we look forward to seeing that go through the planning process, and the planning board will evaluate that. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my...
John, thank you. Okay. George, Bob, thank you. No?
Nothing this evening.
No? Okay. Before I open the meeting to the floor once again, and we're going to do that shortly, just want to, I don't have to remind anybody that Sunday is St. Patty's Day. Be safe, moderation, make sure somebody drives you home, give us a call, we'll drive you home. In any event, this Sunday, to everyone, a happy St. Patty's Day. We'll all be Irish that day. And on Tuesday is St. Joseph's Day. We remind you about that as well. And hope you enjoy both events. That's it for me. A motion to reopen the floor.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is once again open. If you'd like to address the Township Committee at this time, you may do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Hearing none. Seeing none. Really seeing none. Motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Floor is closed. Okay. Motion for adjourn.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Committee stands adjourned. We'll be going back into committee, to conference session. Thank you. Well, John's feeding me all these dates here, right?
Missionary.
After our cocktail hour there, the girls straighten us out on Catholic schools.